Hi guys, welcome to our free general reading for the month of October. This reading is general, so it applies to all signs, and it applies to men and women. It applies to everybody who is listening to this video, wherever you guys are at. So it's very general. If you would like a personalized reading based on your own energy, on your own path, we're going to be leaving the link to our website below. You can come into the website and see all the different prices and options we have for you. So to begin with, it's good for you to remember that from the readings, especially the general ones, just take what resonates with you and what you feel applies to your life and leave the rest. Also know that nothing is written in stone and that you can change everything that appears here through your conscious awareness and through action in the present moment. So we're going to be beginning the month of October with an energy of knowing that we need to let go of something and probably letting go of that. Maybe it has something to do with a partnership. Maybe it has something to do with teamwork, a project, an idea, a career, a relationship, or something that involves another person. There's also a possibility that we need to let go of something because we are entering into a teamwork situation, a partnership of some sort professionally, and that is leaving no space for whatever we are letting go of. Could be a possibility as well. Here we have a card that suggests that if there's any possibility for you to retreat into the mountains, that would be good for you at this time. If it resonates with you, that would be great. If it doesn't resonate, it's just a suggestion to clear your energy and connect with yourself again, realign with yourself again. There's a possibility in October we're going to be presented with some sort of love triangle. That can happen maybe at a professional area, like maybe in work where you're gonna be meeting someone or something like that. It doesn't have to be a love triangle, perhaps. It can be just three people involved in something, whether that's a project, that's a celebration, that's I don't know, anything really in which three people are interacting with each other for some reason. Based on this situation, even if it's a love triangle, even if it's a professional partnership, even if it's a teamwork situation, we're going to be asked in October to have judgment, to have good judgment, to read through the lines, see what's truly happening, honor what we need to let go of, accept what we need to let go of, and do the process that we need to do. So, as challenges this month, the first card that comes up is the Five of Swords, which describes nonsense fighting. So there's a possibility that through this month we're going to have like conflicts and fights that have no base, that make no sense, things that are not really... I don't know if it has ever happened to you that you're fighting with someone about something super superficial, but you're truly fighting about something very deep that you're not really saying. So maybe we're going to be encountering conflicts of this sort in the month of October. Nonsense fighting that takes you to, like, gets you to the conclusion of saying, like, what, this is not what I signed up for. You know what I mean? Like, what is this? And there's many of you who are going to put the swords down and say, I'm not going to fight this fight. I'm going to choose my battles and this makes no sense. So there's a possibility you're going to be encountering that in the month of October. That is obviously a card that would represent a challenge. But we have two very positive cards that are also representing challenges in the month of October. We have the Lover's card, which is a beautiful card, and we have the Four of Wands. The Lover's card is a card that describes love, loving relationships, romantic relationships, love with ourselves. So being in the challenge position, what it is telling us is that maybe it will be challenging in the month of October to love ourselves more, to put ourselves first, to choose ourselves over another person or another conflict. Maybe it is a challenge for us to align everything, to give space to a beautiful love relationship that is emerging in our lives. Because we also have the Four of Wands, also representing a challenge. The Four of Wands describes a soulful relationship, a soul partnership, maybe a soulmate kind of thing. And the fact that those two cards are so beautiful yet are representing the challenges could be that maybe you have found that person in your life and that is generating a lot of conflict. Or maybe there wasn't any space for this person and this person has arrived, and now you're trying to find a way to fit them into your life and make things happen. So that could be why that is being represented in the challenge section of the reading. There's a possibility that you have dreams, you have ideals, you have expectations of how your love life in the future must look like. There's a possibility that you are being faced with someone who doesn't want the same thing you want. So you're facing the fact that you need to maybe let go of that person, and your ideals are representing a challenge. In this case, could also happen. In the past, in the previous months, we have found ourselves being a little defensive. Perhaps our defense mechanisms have been triggered in a loving relationship or in finances and professional ventures. Maybe we have found ourselves a little close to new opportunities. Maybe we're holding on too tight to the money we have. Maybe we're splurging a little bit too much, spending too much. Maybe there's a lack of balance in the financial spending and saving thing. Maybe we have also been, a little defensive mostly towards or in relation to cycles that are closing, that have served their purpose and they're ready to go. Some things are leaving. Some chapters are being closed. Some of them because we want them to be closed. Some of them because they have just served their purpose and they need to go. So chapters are closing and new beginnings are opening. That's the process that has been going on the last months. And we're just kind of like getting a feel of what's going on. There's a possibility that we have been a little too hard on ourselves, a little too negative, perhaps. We have the Eight of Swords, which is a card that describes self-imposed limitation. Maybe we think that we're stuck. Maybe we think that there's a situation in our lives in which we don't have a say, or we can't really make a decision, or we don't have enough information, or we don't have our resources that we need. But that's kind of bullshit, sorry for the word, because this is a card that describes self-sabotage in the sense that we are creating or blaming external circumstances for what we are not ready to face. I know that sounds kind of harsh, it's not my intention, but that's the description of the card. It's a card that also describes commodity in limitation. Kind of like, I don't know if this has ever happened to you, it happens to me sometimes, when we know what needs to go. We know what needs to change. We know that we need to do some things in order to get what we want, but that would mean stepping up, showing up, making an effort, doing some inner work. And sometimes it's just easier to think that we can't get what we want because there's external circumstances. It's a way of not taking responsibility for what you can truly take charge of. So we convince ourselves, we justify that we are stuck and that there's nothing we can do. But there's always something we can do. And this card describes that process in the recent past. So there's a possibility that some of you have already realized that there's more power in your hands than you had realized in the past. There's some of you that might be feeling a little bit overburdened from the previous months, or like a little overwhelmed from the previous months. But that is going to come to an end. You're going to realize how much power you have, and you're going to be able to make the decisions you need to make. What the universe intends us to know through the situations we're living right now is that we are going to be receiving justice through whatever we're going through, especially through a new beginning. If we allow that new beginning that is coming, we're going to be receiving what we deserve. It could be in relation to a person who's very, very charming. Some of you might experience this charming person arriving into your lives, and some of you are going to find that this charming person is not necessarily that charming when you get to know them. It's great for us to take the time to get to know people well in order to have a new beginning with them, whether that's professionally or whether that's emotionally or whatever. Some of you are going to get to know this person more and realize they are way more than you ever expected in the first place. And that could lead to a very beautiful, loving relationship, perhaps. Because we have the Ten of Cups, which is a card that describes emotional fulfillment. It's a happily ever after card. So there's many of you who are maybe going through legal matters or are going to be receiving justice through this situation that you're going through right now. You're going to be heading into a new beginning with a very charming person who might be a presence that is going to bring so much abundance into your life. And for some of you, that could be that you met the one. You know, that could be that person, because we have the happily ever after card, kind of like being a consequence to that new beginning in which you're going to receive justice. So what we have in our minds right now, many of you are thinking about transformation. Many of you are actively working on healing yourselves. Some of you need to be a little bit more compassionate and loving towards yourselves. Resting is very recommended. Giving yourself some self-love is going to be very, very helpful this month of October. So take some time to retreat. Take some time to be gentle with yourself. Also, if you actually have a retreat in mind, like a literal retreat, there's many of you that are thinking about that. Many of you are thinking also that many decisions that needed to be made in the past are already made, and you're kind of like on the way to that which you want. But many of you are going to be realizing that there's also obstacles, represented by the Devil card in this case, which could represent addictions to patterns of behavior, fears, addictions to people that are holding you back, addictions to substances that are holding you back. So know that you need to work on that and release those things if you feel like that's the case, if you feel like this applies to you. Work on that and liberate yourself from everything and anything that could be holding you back at this point, because you are already kind of like on the right track, but you can't let yourself be detoured by anything. In the future, in the next upcoming months, we are going to be going through a beautiful, 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 beautiful new beginning represented by the Ace of Wands. Lots of inspiration, lots of harmony, lots of passion, fulfillment, drive, new things, new projects, births of all sorts, pregnancy perhaps. But basically this new beginning is going to guide us into a higher level of self-mastery within ourselves. Also, that self-mastery might be attained through not so beautiful times. There's a possibility that some challenging times are ahead. Challenging does not mean bad in any way. Challenging means things are going to ask a lot from you to show up, to do the work, as I was mentioning before. It might be related to earth sign. Maybe you are an earth sign, maybe you're dealing with an earth sign or something like that. Maybe you're dealing with a very responsible, loyal, patient, centered, level-headed, grounded energy. That doesn't necessarily have to be an earth sign, but this person in your life is going to trigger some healing within you. Because we also have the Moon card. The Moon card is a card of sometimes secrets, but usually the subconscious mind and healing of the subconscious mind. So there's a possibility that this person is going to trigger a lot of inner movement and a lot of inner healing for you. We also have the Temperance card representing us, which means that we need to be patient this month. Lots of patience is going to be required, and it's going to be very helpful to apply into our lives. The energy surrounding us that could benefit us or could affect us is the Sun of Swords. So that's a very fast-moving energy, almost aggressive. So if the energy around us is so fast, everything is moving so fast, things are coming together fast, we can use that to our benefit and allow ourselves to flow in that speed without resistance. The way we can harm or create resistance, the way in which that could be harmful for us, that's what I'm trying to say, is if we put resistance to the energy and try to slow down processes, try to take our time longer than we need to make decisions, trying to hold back that energy that surrounds us, that is going so fast, that could be non-beneficial for us, because we're stepping out of the flow of life and we are kind of like placing some resistance there. So my advice would be to allow yourself to flow as much as you can within everything that's showing up. The energy or the card that is representing our fears and our hopes is the Tower card. So this card represents that there's some things in your life that have been created maybe with so much love in the past, structures that have been created. Maybe that's a work situation, maybe that's a relationship, maybe that's something that you have created, maybe a company or something like that, right? That something has come to a point in which it has already served its purpose, and this card represents the process of kind of like allowing that structure to crumble down because it already served its purpose. Many people get attached to things, and it's hard for them to let go. So we try to keep something going when maybe it's not supposed to continue, you know? So this card represented, or falling in to the part of the spread that represents our hopes and fears, is that you know that something needs to go. Your hope is for that something to crumble, but at the same time, it's so scary for it to crumble that you're kind of holding on to it. In our outcome, we have the Wheel of Fortune, the Eight of Wands, and the Two of Pentacles. The divine plan is going to happen. There's a divine something, there's a plan, there's an intention that's driving you. There's kind of like a meant to be thing that is going to be manifested in the near future. The universe is gonna intervene, and that divine intervention is gonna align the pieces, maybe through a trip, through some sort of travel overseas perhaps, and that is gonna guide you into a whole new path, financially and professionally, and maybe in other areas of life as well. So, conclusion, allow yourself to flow, get to know people well before making any decisions, understand what's holding you back, get that out of the way, let go of what you need to let go of, know that you have the power to change your life, and be very, very patient as things align themselves on your behalf. So that's our October reading. I really hope this resonated with you. Remember, take what resonates with you and leave the rest. If you would like a personalized reading, please check out the link on our description box below. We not only have personalized readings, we also have all sorts of like shamanic programs, guided meditations, different tarot options. There's books, there's a lot of different things on our website that you might enjoy, and a lot of free resources. So stop by and let's stay in touch. Let's continue to be connected. I'm sending so much love your way. I hope you have a wonderful, wonderful month of October.